I have had the ASI2600MC Pro for about 1 year and the 2600MM Pro for about 3 years. So I have been using both of these cameras for my astrophotography, and now I know enough and I have enough experience with both of these cameras to actually compare these two. Which is better, color camera or monochrome camera? Before we continue with monochrome versus color camera, let's have a look at the difference here. These two are exactly identical. They are the same camera, they have the same sensor, they're cooled the same way, they have the same outputs. They are the same camera except for one small difference, and that is that this one has the Bayer filter in front of it. Now the Bayer filter is just a filter that simulates how our eyes work. Our eyes are sensitive to green, red and blue. Now I am very generalizing a lot here, but in general it takes 4 pixels and it says that 2 of those pixels are going to work on the green, 1 is on the red and 1 is on the blue. So meaning when you take a photograph that is red and blue, green, you will have 25% of your sensor working on the red, and you will have 50% working on the green and 25% working on the blue. And that is important to understand because when you photograph narrowband, for instance, where you photograph hydrogen and oxygen, hydrogen is red and oxygen is green-blue. So you're collecting 25% of data on the sensor on the red and 75% on the oxygen. Before I just start bombing you with my truth, I need to emphasize that this is my truth. It's not the truth. These are my opinions. I know this is a very kind of toxic topic to talk about. There are a lot of opinions here, and some of them are like really loving the color camera. Some of them like, oh, monochrome is the best. And for me, for my borderline area, highly light polluted area, I have my experiences and I have my opinions. So I need to talk about them from that perspective. So let's just dive into that and see what we get. First of all, for me, there's no single answer. I can't say that monochrome is better and I can't say that color camera is better. What I can say is that depends. So in my borderline area, my balcony, I am usually stuck with photographing narrowband because that blocks out almost 99% of the unwanted light, leaving out only the light that I really want to photograph. And when I am using a filter, I can use my entire sensor on that specific wavelength. So when I want to photograph hydrogen, I just let the hydrogen filter in front of the camera here. This is a filter wheel with 7 different filters, and I can photograph hydrogen 100%. The same goes for oxygen, sulfur as well. So in my color camera, I have the same options, but I have to photograph 2 gases at the same time. I photograph hydrogen and I photograph oxygen, or I photograph sulfur and oxygen. And the way that color cameras work is, of course, that they have the Bayer filter in front of them, forcing the sensor to work like 30% on the red channel and 60% on the green and blue channel. So the oxygen gas will end up on 60% of the sensor and the hydrogen gas will end up on 30% of the sensor. Now, for me, in a highly light polluted area where oxygen is prone to light pollution, I really don't want that much data on oxygen because it's not getting better. I can add more data, but it's still, you have the base level of light pollution so big in my area that the oxygen gas doesn't simply show that much. So I feel that I'm wasting a lot of valuable sensor time on oxygen with the color camera when I should be putting that effort on sulfur or hydrogen. So using my monochrome camera for 1 hour, I have to use this camera for 4 hours just to get the same amount of hydrogen data. It's not a waste. As I said, this sensor works at 100% as well, but it is wasted on oxygen 3 data. So for monochrome camera, or sorry, for narrowband data and for narrowband photography in my highly light polluted area, I would say the MM or the monochrome is the way to go. Much better than this one. Sometimes I do go out on the field. Sometimes I leave this highly light polluted area and I go out in the woods and the forests, the dark forest, darker locations. I usually don't spend the night there, so I have a limited amount of time when I need to photograph, or that I have a limited amount of time to photograph the things that I'm after. And it has happened on multiple occasions that cloud has run out, or I have got the northern lights or something that basically just mess up the entire session. So using a monochrome camera, I usually take color images then, LRGB imaging for this one. I have 4 filters that need to be combined in order to get a color image. So the 3 filters are 30 minutes each, which makes it 1 hour and 30 minutes before I can get a complete color image. And then I just use the luminance filter, the 3 filters combined basically, to get the luminance data for as long as I can. So I have had the bad luck of clouds running in after maybe 40 minutes. So if I have been using this one, I would have taken 30 minutes of, let's say, red data and then 10 minutes of green data, and then the clouds would have rolled in. I wouldn't have an image after 40 minutes. But using the color camera, however, which is an RGB sensor, an RGB camera, I'm getting my color image on the first 5 or 3 minutes that I take imaging on, like the first sub. So I'm getting a color image directly. So it has happened that I've been out for like 40 minutes, but I have been using this camera. So I have, I've actually managed to get an image, although it's just 40 minutes. It's better than using the monochrome camera because this one wouldn't have produced any image whatsoever. So when I'm out in the field and I want to photograph RGB targets, I definitely turn my attention to this camera. So in darker locations for RGB imaging, this is better for me than this. Although arguably this will probably give you better imaging in the end, but it's also way more complex than this one. So all in all, which one is better? It depends. I would say for all-around camera, something that you're going to use for a lot of long time, maybe you want it on a remote observatory or wherever, monochrome is definitely the way to go. You will get much better data on this one, whether it's narrowband or it's LRGB imaging. You will have way more control with this one because everything is split into separate channels. But this one gives you that versatility that you might want, the simplicity of getting an image directly. And it's, I mean, it's the same sensor, it's the same camera. The only difference is the biofilter. So this is a very good camera as well. So yeah, sorry to say I don't have a definite answer to you guys, but now you know what my opinions are, and maybe this has helped you in your, I don't know, your thoughts about what's better. Hopefully you have liked this video, and if you have, don't forget to give it a like. And if you want to see more of my content, me actually using these 2 cameras, photographing, don't forget to subscribe. And if you have any opinions and comments, I know you probably do, don't forget to write them down in the comment section, and let's discuss that further over there. All right, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye.